WEFM, the new fresh sound.
Rise and shine. Let's get ready to take on the day. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now. Cop Chat. You've got questions for the police? They're here to give you the answers on WEFM 99.9.
Something is wrong with the human race. Preacher man say it's wonders and signs. We are living in the end of times. Where is the love we once used to know? Where is the kindness we used to show? The heart of man is so full of hate. Let's make a change before it's too late. Too much killing, too much blood spilling. Each and every morning, it's weeping and mourning. We've got to stop all the crimes, erase the violence, let our voice be heard. We can't sit in silence. The hope of tomorrow is in no use today. We've got to live in love. Crime and violence don't pay.
Good morning, St. Vincent and Grenadines. The time is now 8:16, and we do apologize for the late start to Cop Chat this morning. This morning, you're listening to Ari, and with me in studio is Roleza and, of course, Sergeant of Police Sion Choi. Sergeant of Police, the IT unit, Sion Choi?
Yes,
okay.
Yes. I'm currently in charge of the IT department at this time.
Okay, Sergeant in charge of the IT unit, Sion Choi. Soon to join us, we'll have Adrian Udo, and we'll be discussing the Cybercrime Act of 2016, what you need to know. So good morning, everyone.
Yes, good morning, St. Vincent and Grenadines. Welcome to WEFM'S studio. Glad to be here as always.
Yeah, welcome back to you, actually. All right, so as Ari stated, our Cop Chat topic for today is the Cybercrime Act of 2016, what you need to know. All right, so Choi, over to you for the introductory part of our discussion.
Well, as citizens know, that the Cybercrime Act was proclaimed in 2016 on the 4th of December in the House of Parliament. So it's to protect every Vincentian out there as it relates to cyber-related offenses. And I am a cyber investigator, especially including my staff at the IT department. I must thank them for their hard work presently while I'm here and the support that given to me over the years. And our aim at the IT department, the Royal St. Vincent and Grenadines, by extension, encourage persons to report all cybercrime. We have the challenges, but we encourage everyone. If you feel violated, the act is there to protect you. That's why it's implemented. Feel free, report it to any police station. And from there, the cybercrime unit or the IT department, we will do the findings in terms of the prosecution, in terms of we have to get evidence. As you know, we deal with criminal matters. So if we advise anyone who been offended or been violated via cybercrime, as you know, cybercrime is using a computer and the internet. So anything you've been offended via that medium, feel free to report the matter to any police station. You don't have to be at the IT department, the CID. So all the 22 police stations throughout St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we have a person, the common board, report any cybercrime might be offended. So there's some common one that we normally deal with, and then we could go into that as the morning program when, if you were interested in knowing the common cybercrime that we really deal with, on a day-to-day basis at the IT department.
Okay, so before we get into our questions, Adrian Udo is here with us. So Adrian, good morning to you.
Good morning, everyone.
One second, Udo. Okay, go ahead.
Just saying good morning to everyone and thank you for having me.
All right. So Shoy did a little bit of an introduction, coming from the police's standpoint. So I'm not sure your introduction. I know that you're a lawyer, but what else you may wish to let us know at this time?
Well, I believe that he would have covered most of it, considering it's just an introduction. I believe as we go along, if there are further questions, I'll be able to chip in. But this is his specialty. That's what he's trained for.
Okay.
So I have to give him his jacket.
All right. So, Shoy, if you could probably just list for us some of the offenses that we can find under the Cybercrime Act.
Well, the common one that we normally deal with, I mean, a recent case with Mr. Udall dealt with, I mean, illegal access to devices. You know, we deal with child pornography, cyberbullying, violation of privacy, sexual harassment by electronic communication, libel by electronic communication, and harassment by electronic communication. Those are the common, in a nutshell, that we deal with, basically, that force a report in relation to the Cybercrime Act.
All right. So just
one second before we fully get into it. What constitutes to a cybercrime?
Any offenses that deal with a computer and the internet. So anything.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. So just for the purposes of the listeners, so Shoy did give some of the offenses under the act, but just for the purposes, I said, of the listeners, I'm going to just call out all of them, right? So that you can be fully aware.
Yeah.
So some of the offenses under the act regard illegal access to computer system, illegal remaining in computer system, illegal interception, illegal data transference, illegal acquisition of data, illegal system interference, offenses affecting critical infrastructure, illegal devices, identity-related crimes, computer-related forgery, computer-related fraud, child pornography, violation of privacy, sexual harassment by electronic communication, cyberbullying, harassment by electronic communication, libel by electronic communication, spam, and spoofing. All right, so that's the full list of offenses that you would find under the Cybercrime Act of 2016.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so if I have found myself to be a victim of a crime, or I believe that I've become a victim of a crime, what are the steps that I should take?
If it relates to cybercrime, as we deal with criminal matters, it seems like any other offenses, forget about cybercrime, we speak general crime. So if you've been violated, there's the process. A report must be made. Either you go in person or you could call. And the steps start from there. So you must report a crime. And then it go to the train and everything will flow. So if it's a cybercrime, report to the police station. The investigator take a statement, comprehensive statement from the virtual complainant. And when there is a cyber aspect of it, the IT department or the cybercrime unit will involve. So they call us and we'll start our investigative process from there.
All right. So I have a question with relation to this, right? You said to report it, but is there like a time limit or a time frame in which it can be reported? Because let's say, okay, so the act came into effect in 2016, right? Let's say something happened to me, let's say 5 years ago or whenever. Is it a case that I can still bring it if I do have the evidence?
Correct. That's what I'm saying. Long as the evidence is there to bring forward, because these cybercrime is always there.
Okay.
It don't delete. If you put it up, it's always there.
Okay.
So same, long as the evidence is there to bring forward, the matter is hot. You know.
And once it's on the internet, as you said, it's there forever.
Right.
And you can always store. Well, the issue I have with this storage is that sometimes you can't necessarily prove that a particular person would have posted something about you. I guess that's where the IT department, the police force would come in.
Right. So that's what we do. We investigate cybercrime. I'm a cyber investigator by training, and that's not my field. That's what I do on a day-to-day basis, investigate cybercrime.
And what about instances where, okay, so let's say it's not necessarily posted on the internet as such, but it's shared, let's say through WhatsApp. What happens in those cases?
Well, that's what I'm saying. The evidence is there to produce. If you brought your devices. And a good example, whoever have access to your device or who you share that information with. So that's what it. If you share it with Ari,
And I share it with somebody else.
right? So that's an offense. If
Okay.
you're not giving permission to do that. So that's why the Cybercrime Act and you will state the section that's applicable to the offense.
Now, recently there were a few voice notes being sent around, and also there was the video of the child being I want to say assaulted, strangled,
Abused.
Right.
abused.
Right.
For us as Vincentians to be sending it to each other, is that a crime?
Initially, of the context, it may not be because it's make person aware of what is happening at that time for the investigation to go for. Because if it didn't go virtually, with a viral, we'll never know what happened. So that's a first. But if it relates to, because in the Cybercrime Act, it didn't relate to abuse. Right? So that's what I'm saying. We have to get the step right. So it's not abuse. If it happened to any cyber-related offenses, then it will be an offense.
Where it would be a crime, Ari, if it was child pornography.
Right.
Okay.
So the act itself speaks to the sharing of child pornography and having it on your device, as opposed to sharing, as you would have rightfully said, it's a matter of abuse.
But regarding the men that had the voice notes leak, can't they claim damages?
Which voice note?
You could elaborate on that.
There were some voice notes that went they did went viral of a guy asking another guy to leave his girlfriend alone, to stop messing with his girlfriend, and it was a joke on social media. Everybody kept laughing about it and making memes, and yes,
Right. So
in that situation,
that's going to be an offense because it could constitute, the fame, you feel, hurt or mental status. So it could go under cyberbullying, depending on the section that is relevant
Yeah, what's the cyberbullying?
to that
Right.
section.
But how can the department get back to the source of the leak?
Right. So we have that's will have this public have to help us.
Now, the reason why I'm asking, I'm really curious about this, is because a lot of us not knowledgeable of the law exactly would be sending it. Or have you heard this? Look at what happened.
Right.
Is it that if you're able to trace it back to as much people as possible, can all those people
Yes.
face? Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Because
Having it
cyberbullying,
on your phone.
it have to be repeated. So if you keep sending it like a broadcast, it's an offense.
Okay.
I do have a question in relation to this as well, right? So the trend nowadays is to put people on blast, right? You put people on blast, but there seems to be a thin line, especially let's say in instances where it involves children, right? Let's say it's an adult abusing a child in a sexual context, right? Context. You put those persons on blast. Now, I know that the Act speaks of defamation, it speaks of cyberbullying, but there seems to be a very thin line in between you possibly cyberbullying someone as opposed to you creating public awareness.
Right.
How is this treated?
Well,
So let's look to the act itself.
A little closer to the mic.
Sorry about that. I was saying let's look to the act itself and let's look at what would actually constitute cyberbullying. Because it's not enough for us to speculate. We have to look at what the act itself speaks to. So let's see if I can pull it up here.
Right. Section 17.
Section
yes.
17 and
yeah.
19.
Right.
Okay.
So right. I will read it while so,
Go ahead.
Section 17 states, subsection 1, a person who intentionally or recklessly uses a computer system repeatedly or continuously to distribute or transmit any information, statement, or image, A, that causes a person other than a child or vulnerable person to feel frightened, intimidated, or distressed, which means that they're speaking about adult here. So adult could be cyberbullied also. And B, that causes harm to the health or reputation of that person. So when you say put them on blast, this could come in, you could play with the mind, the mental health, but the expert have to prove that in terms of
Right. And then we have to look at what the context is. So if it is you share something that concerns, you say, okay, putting on blast. So for example, maybe somebody hasn't been supporting their child and someone's last resort at that point in time might be to make a Facebook status, they tag the name, say this person is worthless, they don't take care of the children, etc. Now, when you look at the definition, it speaks to causing harm to the person's reputation. So we then have to have more, just to keep it simple, a test. So what is their reputation before? What was their reputation before? Was it that of a upright member of society? Has this status decreased how persons view the subject matter of the status? And then we move on from there. Was distress caused? Was any sort of harm caused? Was damage to the actual reputation of this person caused? Or is it just something that people would have looked at? Because the burden of proof now, well as the
Joy.
Sergeant Choi.
Sergeant Choi, right? The burden of proof now, if you report it as a crime, would then be to prove that X has occurred.
All right, because the reason why this came up for me, right? There was a page that surfaced. I think it's on Facebook. Maybe like a year or so. Some Hunter something or the other. And on that page, there are it's being posted names of persons who are predators, right?
Right.
And this is why I have to ask the question: can the persons who, let's say, have been posted on that page, can they actually, come under the case of cyberbullying, defamation of character, or has it actually led to us, as the public, being aware of possible persons to, to maybe keep our children away from?
Right. The saying goes, I mean, someone might say something about you and it might be fact to them, but the public may not be aware. But when they make the statements or the post, it affects you, your mental health, and so on. Because there is no proof in court of law that, okay, you did this or that. So you, in return, you could bring charges in terms of the cybercrime if you feel you are violated or in distress.
Okay.
Simple.
My thing with that, as also a defense attorney, when it is that you accuse someone, okay, let's look at defamation. You accuse someone of being a so-called predator. Now, we provide the evidence, and one of the defenses to defamation is truth. So once it is that you can prove that the alleged defamatory statement that has been made has some form of truth to it in the context of which it was stated, then you will have a full defense, and the actual claim for defamation would fail. So we have to look at it from both sides of the spectrum.
Correct, counsel.
All right. So I scanned through this document a few times, and I am not a lawyer, so I don't know if I missed anything. But I did not see anything in the Cybercrime Act that speaks to civil liability. So I am curious, is there a way to use the act in civil court?
Yeah, long as it's a laws and sentiments and agreeing, it go across the board.
Okay.
Criminal cases, civil cases, you come to they use the law.
So is there a difference in how it can be used in civil and criminal legislation?
The legal mind is right there. He could elaborate on that for you.
Well, this is what I would say. This is a general blanket statement. Within the law, we have different remedies that are available for breaches, and you can claim damages for breaches of almost anything. And the damages that you would claim would have to be within the context of what you're filing. So that would be my answer to that question.
All right. So as always, curious question again. So I noticed, okay, so not necessary to speak directly to the case that you're involved in recently that has been publicized. But I was curious of how come it was that case came up in civil as opposed to it being a criminal matter, because I'm noticing that the fines are a lot heavier when it's under criminal as opposed to the civil, right? Is it a case where maybe the lawyer decides which one is quote unquote better or maybe possibly easier, as well as with the fine? Is it that the judgment is awarded to the person directly, or is it payable to the court? I really don't know, so I'm asking.
Well, generally speaking, and
Oh, we have a call coming in, so we have put that on pause.
Okay, let's take the call. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. I'm listening to your discussion, and I find it really interesting. Full disclosure, my name is Kenton Chance. I'm a journalist. In 2016, when this act was being considered, I was one of the people who had written to the select committee about some of the concerns that I have about it. And the question that I have, it relates somewhat to what Roleza just asked Mr. Odell about the matter that was before the court last week. And I find it really, really interesting that, and full disclosure also, I'm no lawyer, but I find it interesting that a civil suit was brought ostensibly under the Cybercrime Act. And I'm reading the act, and in section 30, subsection 1, it says, where a person is convicted of an offense under this act, and the court before which the person is convicted is satisfied that another person has suffered loss or damage because of the commission of the offense, the court may, in addition to any penalty imposed under the act, order the person convicted to pay a fixed sum as compensation to that other person for the loss of damage caused or likely to be caused as a result of the commission of the offense. So my understanding of this, and like I said, I'm no lawyer, is that where a criminal charge is brought under the Cybercrime Act, then the court can award compensation. But I'm really not sure that the act allows for, well, I don't understand what are the circumstances in which the act or the laws of St. Vincent and the Grenadines provide for a civil suit to be brought under the Cybercrime Act. That has me a little baffled. I've spoken to a couple other lawyers also on the matter, and they also don't understand. So maybe if Mr. Odell, in light of the fact that he was involved in this historic case, could explain to us how this happened. And finally, I was trying to call your show on Tuesday, I think it was, when you guys were discussing this story on Monday. And, you know, one of the questions, one of the observations that I would have liked to make is that I would have really liked to see how this would have turned out had there been a defendant in the dock, or if there was a defense counsel in the matter, or maybe what the Court of Appeal would have to say about this particular case. Thank you very much. I'll continue to listen.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Well, Mr. Chance, the purpose for me here today is not to discuss the matter that would have been held. We're just here to discuss the actual act and to raise awareness to the public about what they can do in terms of making reports to the police and what the IT department at the police force will be doing in such cases. So I will not be able to delve into that.
Okay, so I have a comment here from a lawyer who is saying that criminal charges are brought by the DPP, but the act does not make the provision for a private citizen to sue. So without discussing your specific case, can you respond to this?
As I would have mentioned earlier, to your co-host or host, you can get damages. So not in that matter, generally speaking, you can get damages.
Under criminal as well?
No. The DPP or the prosecution, they prosecute crimes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not a prosecutor.
Mm-hmm.
So I cannot go to court and prosecute a crime.
Right. Mm-hmm.
However, you can get damages for breaches of whatever may have occurred to you. Just to keep it in simple terms for non-legal persons who may be listening.
So there was a call coming in. Caller, we
Mhm.
missed your call, but you can try again. Go ahead, Roleza.
Okay, so what it is that I need to know, right? And again, I'm not speaking necessarily to this specific case, right? But if I were to bring a case, if I were to make a report, is it a case where it's going to automatically fall under criminal, or can it go to straight to civil? We have a caller, so hi caller, good morning.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to call back again, but
It's
I
okay.
also did not want to remain on the line. But I find Mr. Odo's response to my question to be quite curious because he did give interviews to at least one journalist at the scene and I think to another media entity post facto. So I do not understand this unwillingness to discuss what is a historic case. Mr. Odler is a lawyer, and by the way, I can't tell him what to talk about, but to the extent that he has decided to come onto a show, a public education and public information show, and a few days, he's discussing the Cybercrime Act. A few days after, there was a judgment in a historic case, and he's saying that he's unwilling to discuss the case. I really don't understand, what is this apparent reticence to discuss the case. And then one of the hosts of the show is saying, well, without discussing the particular case, is there something wrong with discussing this case? I mean, to my mind, it is an opportunity for people who are aggrieved to fully understand what their rights are and to see what the options that are open to them. My understanding is that a civil case was brought under the Cybercrime Act. And I'm just trying to understand what are the circumstances in which the laws of St. Vincent and the Grenadines provide for a civil case, a lawsuit, a defamation lawsuit, or entering somebody's phone. Under what provisions of the law was this matter brought? That's all I'm simply trying to understand. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Well, in the case that we would have seen go in such a public manner, I was asked particularly not to discuss the matter, and I can get into the legal principles, but not with the time that I have left at this moment. So the blanket statement that I would have made earlier concerning the damages remains the same.
All right. So Uru, you said you had to leave in quarter two. So that's in 3 minutes. You did request for us not to discuss the case, and Kenton, if that answers why it is that I said that. But I'm receiving a number of comments here from other people in the legal world, and they're saying that the power rests only in the DPP's office to prosecute under the bill.
Correct.
And a private citizen cannot decide that a cybercrime has been committed against you. The most you can do is report it to the police, and the DPP takes it from there.
Right. So the DPP deals with all the prosecution of crimes.
Mm-hmm.
That is their job. But you can file for damages against something that has happened to you. That's a general legal principle.
On the civil.
And in a civil matter,
Right.
you can file for damages. That's just a blanket statement, not necessarily in relation to the matter that would have occurred.
But does one need to precede the others, and does criminal need to precede civil?
Well, it
generally
depends on the context of what is happening, or
Okay.
the context of the situation.
Okay. I'm curious. I myself am curious since we're here. Is it that the client asks you not to discuss the case?
Client and well, I don't want to say her name. I don't know if her name was actually published in some of the articles.
No.
I didn't say a name of the class or the name of the
accused.
The accused. Well,
accused, the defendant.
Well, no, it's the defendant. But then in cases where the defendant isn't present and the defendant didn't have counsel, I also understand that they plan on appealing this matter. How do we proceed here? Because, as again, I am not a lawyer, But from understanding from the story and other lawyers, it seemed as though this case happened in a empty courtroom, in a sense, where it was you, the your client, and the magistrate present. So
Well,
I
other
guess
people were
that's
there,
why
but
there were
yes.
questions raised regarding this matter, and it's quite a popular matter. I saw it was picked up by regional papers or news entities, and it's a popular matter here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That's why I'm curious as to why you're not able to speak on it.
Well, what I can say is that the law does not, well, in most cases, the law does, it evolves. And as being a lawyer, sorry, you can get things incorrect. And if it is that there's an appeal that is being lodged within the courts, then we have to wait and see what the outcome of that may be. No attorney is perfect. That is why appeal courts do exist. And if it is that something went wrong or something was done incorrectly, then the courts will be able to correct that decision.
Okay. And
right,
her
so-
name was actually published.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, Shoy, so just to bring you back into the mix, I noticed Kenton used the word historic. And I did have a question in terms of how many cases have been successfully prosecuted under this act since its inception. Do you have that stats?
2. I mean, the reason why it's not like that.
Does
there's
this
more,
one count? Or?
no.
Okay.
That's not.
Not a person.
Right.
Right. So that's why
okay.
it's historic in terms of the fines and so on. That's maybe why he said it's historic in terms of
Mhm.
the civil. But in terms of the cases, why it's, you may not see the reflect in the stats is because most of that are being reported. Some of the voucher complainant chose not to go beyond.
Okay.
So not that. But maybe if they go civil, maybe it might go all the way.
Do you know what the matters are?
There's last one from
The
the Calico
offenses?
district that was violation of privacy.
In what sense?
The person posts nude videos of the person.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. And what was the damages in that case?
Was not much. I think about 2,000. I think it wasn't of significant, like the matter in the fines.
Right. And that was the question I was asking, which wasn't answered. So when
Oh yes. Sorry.
damages-
It's 8:46. As Udo said, you had to leave. So thanks for joining us and participating this morning.
All right,
Thank you
thanks.
very much
Thanks.
for having me. And if you have any questions, I guess most people know where to find me.
Mhm.
on the media. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thanks.
Mr. Udo.
Thank you.
All right. Right. So I was asking the questions of the damage. Does it go directly to the individual, or is it payable to the court? What happens there?
If it's damages, it's good to the person.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a fine from the system, it goes to the court. So it
Okay.
can be damages along with the fine.
Mhm.
Because in the offense and the sentencing, you can be fined and confined. So you could go to prison
Mhm.
along with the fine.
Okay.
All right. Has anyone received a prison sentence?
Not as yet in terms of.
Okay.
All right.
Excuse me.
So you wanna? Okay. Continue, Ari?
Yeah,
I'm a
continue.
listener.
Sorry, I tried to.
All right. So another question. So we know that hacking takes place, right? My system could be hacked regionally or internationally. Can I still report this? And if so, what steps can be taken further? Is there those linkages with other?
Yes,
All right.
yes.
So you can expand on that for me.
So if you feel the system was compromised, you will not use the word hack, because we will have to determine
Mm.
if it was hacked or the experts in that field. So when you report the matter and it comes to the IT department, we will reach out to our regional or international agencies that assist us when these, Interpol, Europol, reach out to large agencies with the capacity and the resources to assist us in determine where the source or the IPs or the proxies originate from. So we reach out to other agencies. So we don't do things, reach out to the FBI, other persons with the assistance in our jurisdiction, or how to put it, the mutual legal assistance in
Right.
terms of the countries
Evidence,
that we think, right?
I'm glad
MLAT.
that you mentioned that. So, what are the limitations? Can I be charged for committing an offense while in Barbados?
Yes.
In St. Vincent and the Grenadines?
Yes.
Okay. And how would that work?
So that's what I'm saying. So as long as we can know that exactly you are there,
Mhm.
the other agency, police to police, or the mutual legal assistance will assist us in reaching out to you, and we can prosecute you.
And is it that all police in the world have this relationship, or it depends on the
mutual legal assistance? Right?
Okay.
So that's what comes.
Well, I'm not trying to assist criminals, but I am curious. From what countries do you not have that police to police relationship?
Right.
with?
So that's why we reach out to Interpol or Europol.
Okay.
So they will do their other part from their end.
Okay. All right. I have to make it clear.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So, caller, just a reminder that this is an interactive program. If you do have any questions, we are live on Facebook, so you can send your questions, comments there, as well as you can call us at 457-9997. All right.
All right. We're gonna take a quick commercial break here, and you can ask Sergeant Shoy any question that you wish.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
At Lynch Caribbean, yes, we offer comprehensive insurance solutions and broking. But we are more than an insurance broker. We drill down to your core business strategy. We keep a pulse on risk to keep your operations healthy.
On your mark, get set.
Along the way, helping you to drive competitive advantages. At Lynch Caribbean, we have your back. Contact us today for insurance solutions, strategic risk advisory, and more. Call 453-3300. Email info@lynchcaribbean.com or visit our office in Beachmont, Kingstown. Follow Lynch Caribbean SVG on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, or visit www.lynchcaribbean.com.
Let's get your laundry clean and fresh with the widest range of washing machines and dryers in SVG. At Singer, choose between our West Point and Speed Queen brands with an array of washing machines with payments starting as low as $92 per month. Your laundry room wouldn't be complete without a Whirlpool or Speed Queen electric or gas-operated dryer, saving your energy consumption. Also in stock is our West Point washer-dryer combo for only $136 per month. One machine that does the work of two. No need to change machines, just toss in your laundry and forget about it. Whether your preference in machines is top-loading or front-loading, whether you want a 9 kilogram or a larger 15 kilogram washer, whether you're looking for a gas or electric dryer, we've got it all at Singer. Visit us today and get the washing machine and dryer that's perfect for you. Singer, your family company.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's a whole new world out there. Reaching new customers and getting products faster. That's what it's all about. Ocean freight rates are skyrocketing, so don't pay more for slower service. It's time to switch to faster, more reliable air cargo service with SkyMax Cargo. Up to 3 flights weekly to and from the USA, Puerto Rico, and the Caribbean islands. Providing excellent import, export, and e-commerce solutions to put you ahead of the competition. For special low rates on small packages and air cargo, contact SkyMax today. 784-456-5400. Local agents SwiftPack Interprime Cargo. Call 784-456-5400 to book your shipments today.
WEFM, the new fresh sound.
Cop Chat. You've got questions for the police? They're here to give you the answers on WeFM 99.9.
The world has become such a cruel place. Something is wrong with the human race. Preacher man say it's wonders and signs. We are living in the end of times. Where is the love we once used to know? Where is the kindness we used to show? The heart of man is so full of hate. Let's make a change before it's too late. Too much killing, too much blood spilling. Each and every morning, it's weeping and mourning. We've got to stop up the crimes, erase the violence, let our voice be heard. We can't sit in silence. The hope of tomorrow is in no use today. We've got to live in love. Crime and violence don't pay.
And welcome back to Cop Chat this morning. In studio, it's myself, Ari, Roleza, and Sergeant Shoy here, and we're discussing the Cybercrime Act of 2016, what you need to know. So, Sergeant Shoy, take it away.
Yes, I just want to bring awareness to the general public, and it's related to certain offenses that is very prevalent, and we want to tell person that every action, there's consequences. And I want to touch on violation of privacy, something that we see that is happening. One of the offenses being reported is that, and we call it revenge porn, is that when you're in a relationship, you might share consensual images, videos, and at the end of the relationship, someone is disgruntled and they post this. So we tell person it's an offense, and the penalties for it is not small, it's large. And I will read it what it states: violation of privacy. A person who intentionally and without lawful excuse or justification captures, store in, or publish or transmit through a computer system the image of a private area of another person without his consent, where the other person has reasonable expectation that he could disrobe in privacy or his private area would not be visible to the public, regardless of whether he is in the public or private place. Which just means is you give permission to do what you do. It didn't give you permission to post it online.
Mm-hmm.
And the offenses, the penalties for that, if it been happened by anyone, on summary conviction, a fine of $100,000 or imprisonment for 2 years or to both, or on conviction and indictment, which is serious charges, indictable matters, a fine of $250,000 or imprisoned to 5 years or to both. And there is another section that work hand in hand. It's sexual harassment by electronic communication. The difference is this: is if when someone posts an image of a person and attach the name of that person to it. So in case a private area of Roleza is there, but nobody know who that hand is, but you put your name to it, it has become sexual harassment by electronic communication. So it depends on the section and the offense that we're going to use. You'll be precise in terms of which section you're going to charge the person answer. And that is why the Cybercrime Act is there, to person aware that when they post stuff online, and there's an offense that if when you get nude videos and storage on your computer, it's also an offense, especially in child pornography cases. And a child, according to the Act, is anyone under the age of 18. So if you have videos and news of children under that age, it's child pornography. So we advise person not to do that. If person share that to you, delete it.
I really wish there was, outside of you, a politician or lawyer present to explain the next question that I had, which is, how is it? Yes, how is it consent, that you're a child under 18, but the age of consent is 15? How?
Yeah, the lawmakers will adjust that.
Yeah, we tired of this one question.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand this.
Yeah, we tired of that one question.
Right.
So, yeah.
And another one we see in is cyberbullying. And we speak earlier in part A, section 17, subsection 1. And we go into section 3. So now we goes to, we dealt with the child, so we go into part 2. A person who intentionally or recklessly uses a computer system repeatedly or continuously to distribute or transmit any information, statement, or image that causes a child or vulnerable person, when a vulnerable person is person with disabilities and so on, them to feel frightened, intimidated, distressed, or humiliated. The good thing with the Cybercrime Act, you don't need to prove all 3 to be cyberbullied. You just need to prove 1. So you could be, if you're being frightened, that's cyberbullying. If you're being intimidated, distressed. So in the criminal, in terms of points to prove. You don't need to prove one of these offenses to be charged under cyberbullying.
Sure, just to interject 1 second. I'm trying to see if I remember at the beginning when they had when they said the interpretation of what, like you use the word computer, right? Computer data storage medium. Okay, no, that's apparatus. So because I don't want a person to necessarily walk away thinking that a computer is like a physical computer that we know of,
right?
Because a smartphone is also
he did say internet,
right? Do the cyber crime,
right?
Right, but the issue of computer is, let me just read what this law defines a computer.
I think
program.
it's at the beginning.
Yes, let me just get that for you. Right, as a computer data, right, it says the data. So a computer data storage medium means anything which information is capable of being stored.
Right.
So if you have a flash drive with nudes and so
on, okay,
that's all right. So anything that being, for argument, any storage medium you have.
Right. Okay. Good. Just to have it out there. Right.
Right. So we saw harassment by electronic communication, and we just see this commonly come about. This is when person use the computer system to harass or threaten. So in case I can't get you face to face, I will go on your Facebook profile or Instagram and send. Right. So this is the harassment. Person harass person along that means, they keep sending all kind of messages where you don't want to hear, menacing in character and so on. So there are sections to address a lot of offenses under the Cybercrime Act. And don't speak about the libel. Despite it's in the criminal code in 275 and 281, section 19 in the cybercrime states a person who uses the computer system to unlawfully publish any defamatory matter concerning another person with intent to defame that other person commits an offense.
Okay. We have room for one last question. I see on the library. Roleza, you mind reading that?
All right. So the person's asking, in places where there's an accident involving death, the deceased private area may be exposed and pictures are taken and posted on the internet. Is that criminal?
Remember that you said deceased, huh?
Yeah.
So that means the person ain't come forward to make it.
Okay, they can't make the reports. Okay.
Right.
All right.
But I don't think person will do that in terms of what is happening, sensitivity of the situation. I don't think person will decide to post it like that. They will blur it out or do some pixelation, some modification to deem that thing.
All right, I had said one more question, but there's one here that I think the listeners would like to hear. If it is that someone owes you money and you make a post including a photo and their names, is that an offense?
Well, as we say again, and the lawyers speak about the truth in what you post.
So you need to have evidence to back up that. Okay. All right. Okay. Thanks for joining us this morning, Sergeant Shaw. I don't know if you want to say anything before we wrap up today.
Right. Before, I just want to say the Cybercrime Act of 2016, we advise in the public. Please get your hands on it. And they say ignorance of the law is no excuse. So you need to know the law.
Okay. And in getting our hands on it, is it accessible online? Is it at a website?
Yes. We will, the police website will have it. You can reach out and there's a soft copy that's available to the public. And you're gonna get it too.
So I easily found it. There's a website forexpeacearmy.com/community/s3/articles/cybercrime act 2016. So all I did was Google it and everything was right there. It's not hard to find. Yeah.
It's right there. So thanks for having us. Thank you, St. Vincent and Grenades. I'm glad to be here as always.
All right, no problem.
Thanks for joining us and informing the public on this act. So the time is now 9:03 here in St. Vincent and Grenadines, and it's time for your ECCB currency exchange rates